thank you also. Thank you very much, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and love you too. And thank you for sharing this evening here in this magical place with our great Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra. This night has two special meanings for me. One of them is, if I may tell you, that in 1958 and 9, possibly 60, I was engaged as an extra pianist to come here and play with the orchestra for several bowl concerts in those years. And that was now 60 years ago. And it's wonderful thinking I was 12 years old. And I had to wait 20 years until 1978 to have the privilege and the honor of conducting the Los Angeles Orchestra here. It's now been 40 years that I've shared these concerts with the orchestra, and I have to tell the orchestra publicly that it's been a privilege and an honor for me all these years to have that opportunity. The genesis of this relationship is just a little bit of a story. The general manager, executive director of the Los Angeles Philharmonic in those years was a gentleman called Ernest Fleischman, who was a very powerful man in the music world and enormously effective in Europe and here in North America, and Los Angeles in particular. And in 1978, he said to me in his deep, authoritative voice, he said, "John, you must come and conduct at the Hollywood Bowl." And I said, "Ernest, I've only conducted in the Hollywood studios. I don't conduct in public. And we have our music director, who's Zubin Mehta, who's one of the greatest conductors in the world. You certainly don't need me." And then Ernest again said in his gruff voice, "John, you don't understand. I want you to come to conduct at the Hollywood Bowl." So this was enough of a scary invitation and a flattering one that I accepted, to my lasting joy and pleasure. So I celebrate tonight that 40th anniversary. And also, the second point that is a special evening to me is the result of the fact that our guest, who you know is coming, has been a close, warm, personal friend of mine for 45 years. He's also been, on occasion, quite a few occasions, my boss, my editor, and my inspiration. And I can tell you that you will never meet a more generous and contributive man than Steven Spielberg. Please welcome.
It's a thrill being here tonight. Thank you so much. So, in the world of physics, the universe was formed by what's been called the Big Bang. One flash of cosmic brilliance that lit up the heavens and created all the stars and all the planets. But in the world of culture, we experienced another Big Bang when W.K.L. Dixon in 1892, working under the auspices of Thomas Edison, invented the kinetoscope, which is the first motion picture camera. So in 24 flashes of brilliance each second, the movies were born. And if the movies are like lightning, then the music written for those movies is thunder, because there is no better marriage of mediums than film and music. Silent picture days, the silent era, D.W. Griffith and Charlie Chaplin and Max Sennett, they knew this better than anyone. In those pre-jazz singer days before talking pictures, all they had were silent, flickering images and this piano off to the side of the screen, which accompanied the story and cued us when to laugh and maybe when to cry and maybe even when to scream and hide our eyes. And it was during this arranged marriage of image and music that your grandparents and great-grandparents, and maybe perhaps even a few of you here, first fell in love with the movies, and how far we've come, and how lucky we are to have the preeminent maestro of film music himself, John Williams, performing with his friends and my friends in the Los Angeles Philharmonic, whom we are honored to be hearing from tonight. Thank you. It's a privilege and it's a responsibility when telling stories about our collective history. Because there's no rules when a story rolls off my imagination, but when a story comes from the archives of scholarly research and public records, I have to take a more tempered approach, and as does John, when he's finding about what to say musically about the Holocaust or World War II or 19th century American history. So here now is the music John wrote to underscore Abraham Lincoln's second inaugural address in our film Lincoln, featuring the orchestra's principal trumpet, Thomas Hooten.